ito ay ang topic mula sa Science 7 at ito ay may lesson title na Elements and Compounds. We're discussing now the elements and compounds. The learning competencies or the targets of the to describe the periodic table of elements and to recognize that substances are classified into elements and compounds. So let's see. This is an example of the periodic table. What is a periodic table? Periodic table is the arrangement of the chemical elements ordered by increasing atomic number. So kung mapapansin po natin dito, meron po tayong iba't ibang kulay na nagbibigay ng distinction sa bawat elements. Kung titignan natin, meron ditong kulay gray. These are non-metals. We have orange alkaline metal. We have red alkaline earth metal. We have violet or purple transition metal. Dark green metal, green metalloid, sky blue halogen, and blue noble gases, and pink lanthanide, and red-orange actinide. So malalaman natin dito kung ano-ano nga ba ang kaibahan ng bawat elements sa periodic table of elements. Some elements tend to lose an electron and becomes positively charged. So those are metals. So on the other hand, non-metals, it tends to acquire an electron and become negatively charged. So yung pinag-uusapan po natin dito ay parts ng atom. Neutron, ng protons, at ng electrons. So balik tayo dito sa pinag-uusapan natin. Metalloids fall into between these two extremes. So ibig sabihin, itong mga elements na to na nakikita natin sa periodic table ay mayroong katangian ng metals at ng non-metals. And the noble gas display interest in either acquiring or losing an electron. So yung atom po yung pinag-uusapan natin o yung charges na pinag-uusapan po natin. Now, we have the four ancient elements. We have earth, air, fire, and water. Elements are substances or a substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by ordinary means, made up of only one kind of atom. So yung nakita po natin ng mga elements, those are elements na meron lang silang isang katangian na pinoportray. Meron lang na distinct sa kanya. Now, let's talk about atoms. And also, atoms is the smallest particle of an element, and atom is considered as the building blocks of matter. So lahat po ng nakikita natin, nahawakan natin, or kahit hindi natin nakikita, is composed of atom. Okay, so another trivia. In our periodic table of elements, we have 118 elements. 96 are naturally occurring and 22 are artificially made. Anong ibig sabihin ng naturally occurring? Ibig sabihin, yung 96 elements na nandito ay talaga namang originated or natural in nature ay nagawa or nakita sa ating mundo. So yung 22 elements naman ay ginawa ng mga scientists or isang halimbawa upang makita natin or ma-identify natin kung nasaan ba yung protons, neutrons, and electrons. So kung mapapansin natin dito sa kabilang side, so ito ay He stands for helium. So yung He, ang ibig sabihin dyan ay symbol ng element. So yung helium, syempre, automatic, siya yung pangalan ng element na yan. So tignan natin kung paano natin madidistinguish sa periodic table of elements kung ano yung atomic number at kung ano yung atomic mass. Yung atomic number, helium is number 2. So actually, ang mga elements ay ng ating mga chemists or ng ating mga scientists according to the increasing atomic number. So yung atomic mass, gaano sila kabigat or kung ano yung composition ng bawat element. So tignan natin dito sa left side. Ito yung hitsura ng atom ng isang helium. So ang sabi dyan, ang atomic number and atomic mass. So tignan natin dito. So, sa helium, meron tayong dalawang electron at ito ay negatively charged. Ang protons naman ay positively charged and ang neutrons naman ay no charge, or some other says that it has a negative and positive charge. Okay, so when we say atomic number, it is the number of protons. Yan. Protons that has a positive charge. And number of protons is equal also to the number of electrons. So, for a neutral element, so mass number is equal to protons plus neutron. Para po daw makuha natin ang mass number, i-add lang po natin yung number ng protons sa neutrons. Ayan, nakikita po natin yan. Tayo ng 4 na uri ng elements, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina. Yung una, yung metals. Yung metals, these are typically found on the left side of the periodic table. So kung may hawak kayong periodic table ngayon, lahat po ng nasa left side ay metals kung tawagin. So ano po yung characteristic ng mga metals? These metals are conductor. So sila po ay nagtatransfer ng heat at ng electricity. Malleable, shape into another substance, shiny, and sometimes magnetic. Example of those elements or under metals, we have aluminum, iron, copper, gold, mercury, and lead. What else? On the right side naman, typically, those elements are known as non-metals. So, syempre, kabaligtaran ng metals, non-metals are non-conductor, not malleable, dull, and not magnetic. So, example, oxygen and carbon. So, yung metalloids naman, nabanggit natin na meron silang character ng metals and non-metals. So, silicon and arsenic. So, elements in the universe. So, malalaman natin na marami palang mga elements dito sa universe, not only in our Earth. So, in the universe, we have 75% of all matter. Helium 20%, with oxygen being the third most abundant element. All of the other elements are relatively rare in the universe. So, in the Earth's crust, oxygen is the most abundant element. So we have 46.6%, silicon 27.7%, aluminum 8.1%, iron 5.0%, calcium 3.6%, sodium 2.8%, potassium 2.6%, and magnesium 2.1%. So, papaano daw natin maisusulat ng maayos ang iba't ibang mga elements? Ang hirap naman sigurong i-recite or tandaan yung mga pangalan. Pero our scientists give us a way on how to write symbols of element. So, shorthand way of representing the elements, usually 1 or 2 letters lang. So, kung makikita natin, may iba't iba kayong makikitang mga letters or symbol na pwede nating maintindihan at para matandaan natin kung ano yung element na sinasabi natin. Bigyan natin ng halimbawa. Carbon, so letter C. Calcium, Ca. Nabanggit dito na pwede daw na ang symbol ng isang element ay 1 o 2 letters. So karaniwan, yung mga symbol nila ay nagsisimula sa first 2 letters nila. Karaniwan, pero hindi ko sinasabing lahat. Hydrogen, H. Iodine, I. Oxygen, O. Chlorine, Cl. Okay? And chemical symbols. Some symbols come from the Latin word name or their name. Gold, Au, from aurum. Silver, Ag, argentum. Iron, Fe, ferrum. And mercury, Hd, is cerium. Okay? So kung mapapansin natin dito, na hindi ibig sabihin na nasa first natin ay nakukuha natin sa first and second letter, may ibang mga cases po na iba talaga ang kanilang mga symbol. Ito yung dahilan kung bakit elements ay hindi nagsisimula sa sarili nilang letra. Some symbols come from their Latin name, like this: Hg, mercury, Fe, iron. Substances made up of more than one element. So kapag pinaghalo po or pag pinagmix po ang elements, it produces a compound. two or more elements chemically combined. For example, pag hinalo natin or pag pinag-combine natin, magbibigay ako ng isang halimbawa, carbon dioxide. Okay? So marami pang mga compounds na pwede nating banggitin. So unlike elements, compounds can be broken down into simpler substances. So the molecules are made up of elements, or I mean molecules. Molecules is two or more. So water. So what is the symbol of water? H2O. So paano natin makukuha na ilan yung atom niya? So yung hydrogen dito is 2. So the water has 2 atoms, katulad ng nakasulat dito. And then oxygen, 1 atom. Together, they form 1 molecule. It is commonly known as H2O. Yan ang halimbawa ng isang compound. Pinagko-combine natin ang dalawang uri ng element. So, ang H ay hydrogen, ang O ay oxygen. So, kung titignan natin yung mga chemical formulas na to, there are placed to the lower right of the chemical symbols like this. CO2. Ano yung CO2? If this is an example of compound. C, carbon, O, oxygen. So, ang tawag dyan ay carbon dioxide. So, ilang atom? Hindi na natin ilalagay na merong isa dyan sa tapat ng C kasi automatic kapag merong ganyan, 1 ang ibig sabihin yan. So, 1 atom of carbon and 2 atoms of oxygen. Next, some compounds. The properties of the elements that make up a compound are often quite different from the properties of the compound itself. We have sodium, highly reactive metal. We have chlorine, poisonous gas. And sodium chloride is table salt. Ayan. So, table salt, sodium chloride with the symbol of Na and Cl. Okay. So, identify the name of an element represent the given symbols. So, I will give you time to have this activity para alam naman natin kung paano natin bibigyan ng mga pangalan ang mga symbol na ito. For letter B naman, using the symbols above, identify the elements that consist a compound substance. So, pipili lang po tayo ng mga symbols sa itaas para makapag-produce po tayo ng mga compounds or compound substances na nasa ibaba. Okay. So, dyan po nagtatapos ang ating presentation. So, I hope nakatulong po ako sa inyo na